Olokpa no one die.
Hey, reverse now, reverse.
I like you. You did visualize this my plan.
I need to visualize your plan.
No call your papa, your mama, brother, sister, girlfriend. Lay low.
Because not be all of us go make her.
Ongoing robbery at Southern Bank. Suit up.
Whoosh.
Big boy stuff.
Whoopee.
You go collect woto.
Whoosh. Whoopee.
Stand down now, we have you surrounded. Nobody go collect shishi. Drop your weapons.
A piece of information from you, sir. Who are the Ojuju boys?
Ojuju boys.
So you all, I'm sure you know when I'm about to talk about a good movie, I'm always very elated. I think that what I just saw is about to be Nollywood's best work in 2022. Maybe too early to call it, but then we have 2 months or 3 months to have someone prove us wrong, but this movie is definitely giving that vibe already. I am so glad. I am a huge fan of Jade Oshiberu's work, especially since I saw Sugar Rush and some of the very unique things she did in that movie. Yes, it's also important for me to say that this is the very first time Baby Naija folks will dominate a movie and it will be this good. Most times when we see Big Brother Naija guys in a movie, it's almost like they are used to patch up things. But this one, these guys took on important roles and they thrilled me from the beginning to the end. I am so glad to be talking about Brotherhood, guys. Let me just cut the chase and quickly get to the conversation as I review the movie Brotherhood. Hey you, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Moyosoro Olua. If you're on my channel for the very first time, I say a very big welcome to you. Thank you for clicking to watch this video. I am a movie reviewer from Lagos. Although movie review is not the only thing I do on this channel, I also have lifestyle content. So if that's something you love to watch, you're welcome. If movie review is the reason you're here, you're very much welcome as well. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for being here. For the new ones joining me for the first time, please remember to do the do. And that is to like, subscribe, and make sure you turn on notification because you're going to get good content from me every time you click to watch a video on my channel. Today I'm reviewing the movie Brotherhood, and of course you can definitely see that I am very excited. As a matter of fact, right, I'm supposed to be heading to church, but I still have some minutes left and I said, hey, I can't hold this thing till I come back because I saw the movie late last night and I got in about midnight. I didn't want to bog my head. I just wanted to assimilate first, just soak it in, and then come back to tell you everything I saw. So yeah, this morning when I woke up, I'm like, okay, I think now is the right time before I head out to church so I don't waste no time before dropping this amazing movie review for you guys. So yes, welcome yet again. If you've been watching my movie review, you would know that I have a pattern for reviewing movies. I tell you a bit about the story, the cast, production, location, acting, everything that makes the movie what it is, things that I like, things I do not like, and yes, the moral before then I do the rating in general. So yes, you're in for a good ride. Just make sure you stay here. Let's get to the story first today, okay? Even though I'm excited to tell you all about the acting, the performances, but let's talk about the story. One thing I must say for sure is that I think that Jade Oshiberu understands how to take a very simple story, something that we've probably seen before, something that is not entirely new, but makes it so new, so good, so beautiful, and we're drooling at the end of the day. This is one thing that I really love about Jade, because for what is worth, this movie Brotherhood, of course you can call it crime drama. Yeah, I think there's something like that. Is that a genre like that? I think so. I think that it's crime and drama, you know, of course, is an action-filled movie or action-packed movie. And the story itself it's not something so unusual. I mean, twin brother, one goes to crime, one is a police. I think I've seen that story out of Nollywood before. Take for instance, we saw Omogeto. Omogeto also had the twin vibe, raised differently. One is into thuggery and toutish things. The other one grew up, good and fantastic, and she made something out of herself. So in a real sense, right, this particular story is not entirely new. But what is new for this movie is the fact that the story was not just beautifully told, it was fantastically narrated and acted, right? And that was what made this really different for me. Before I get to all of those technicalities, right, let me quickly give you some context into the story. I will try as much as possible to make this spoiler free. So the story is about two brothers, twin brothers. With the conversation we saw at the beginning, felt like they had lost their mom, their father, and they were raised by an aunt, right? And because of the circumstance, which most of us can relate with, growing in Lagos, you do not have parents, you're living with your auntie, it is a possibility of trying to do everything to survive. So these twin brothers had to feed off the street and made both of them choose different paths to life. While one was engaged in criminal activities from a young age, from, lifting things and stealing things from people, the other decided to choose a different path because he did not like what he saw with his twin brother. So now I think I can start putting names into the bit of narration I'm going to do as far as the story is concerned. So for the twin brothers, we have Falz and Tobi Bakre, who is a Baby Naija alumni. And then in the story, we saw their aunts to be Ronke Oshodioke. And as the story started to unveil, we saw them interact with other people. On Falz's side, he had a lot of interaction with Sandede, who was his boss at work. Omaomi was also his superior at work. Diane Russell, who was his colleague at work. Jide Kene, who was his colleague at work. Who else did he have interaction with on that side? Dorathy, right? Dorathy, who was Sam Dede's daughter. That's his boss's daughter, who, we had a relationship going on somewhere there. I don't want to give too much for those who haven't seen it. So that's Falz's interaction, basically. That's the most part of his interaction. And then on Tobi Bakre's side, we have his interaction with the crew it was part of, that's the Juju Boys. And we had Toni Toes, who was his girlfriend. She was called Goldie in the movie. OCKG, who was like his head-to-head when it comes to the gang thing. They were like on the same rank in that gang. And then I think OCKG played Easy or so Israel, something in that line. We had their boss, okay, the CEO of the Juju Boys, being Basketmouth. We had Zubi Michael, in the gang. There was Macaroni in the gang. Who else am I leaving out of the gang? We had all of them right there in the gang. So many faces, known and unknown in the gang. I'm trying to remember some more faces from that gang now, but I don't think I can remember. But there are so many people in that gang, and I loved the versatility of that particular gang, to be very honest. So they're called the Juju Boys. So you can see the side of the divide for the twin brothers, right? You can understand how life plays out for both of them, because one is with the law while the other is the one breaking the law. So I think that's all I'm going to say about the story right now. And the casting. Deyemi Okolawan is also in the movie, and I do not understand what happened with Deyemi in this movie. Like Deyemi, our Deyemi, did a waka pass. Why was he in that movie? Because I think it was just one scene. And we didn't even remember him until when we were walking out of the cinema. And I'm like, I was thinking it was my husband that said, Deyemi was in that movie. I was like, yes, Deyemi was there at some point, but we don't know what happened. So some of the things we saw as the story unveiled included crime, drama, action, love, family. These are some of the things that were most pronounced. Conflict, conflict resolution as well. Those are some of the things that we saw, in the entirety of the movie, just because I don't want to say too much about the story. Having given you a foundation for the story and the cast, let's quickly talk about the production. Of course, everybody knows that this is a Jade Oshibero movie, and according to what I read and heard, the director of this movie is not even Nigerian, right? I think, is he Ugandan or from somewhere somewhere around Africa, but definitely not Nigerian. And of course, you know that a Jade Oshiberu's movie usually takes a village, right? She does so well, so much, right? And it just comes together so nicely for her. And I'm really happy for the kind of vision that she has. And for so many people who do not know who Jade Oshiberu is, I'm sure if you see Jade Oshiberu, you probably would not even believe that this is the lady behind all these things that we are seeing. I'm not going to try compare with Kemi of King of Boys, but I just see something beautiful coming out of the female dominance, production dominance in Nollywood, and I'm loving it. So yes, it's a movie by Jade Oshiberu. Let's quickly talk about the location and the setting of this movie. This movie was predominantly shot in Lagos, Nigeria, and it had a lot to do with the trenches. When I say trenches, I'm talking about those, inside town parts of Lagos, because they made mention of places like Oshodi. We saw places like Third Mainland Bridge in the movie, police stations, banks in Lagos. Also saw activities around a safe house for the SWAT team. Yeah, that's basically the setting in itself. I think we also had hospital setting. One of the things that made this movie beautiful is not just the directing of the movie, which I saw was very intentional. With the conversation, the lines, how somebody had to pull out for the next person to come into the conversation, especially with the police, right? When bosses were asking questions on a crime scene, and you can see the boss being with this person at this minute, and then the way he pulls out consciously to have a conversation with someone coming from the other direction, the intentionality was noticeable, and that really made the whole thing come together nicely for me. So let's quickly get to what I like, because I feel like if I continue to talk about the story, the location, set, and all of that, I might eventually touch what I like before I say, let me talk about what I like. So let's just get into it. Either ways. One of the things that makes Jade's movie stand out always is not just the directing, it's not just what she does with the actors, it's not just in the performances, it's also in the attention to every details, like the lighting. I don't know, but Jade has this tone to a movie. And oftentimes when you see a Jade movie, you will see so many night scenes, right? There are always so many night scenes. In fact, half of the movie, or even more than half of the movie, will be shot at night. That's one thing with Jade's movie. And to be able to pull that off excellently, you know that you need standard light, especially for an action thriller of this type that has to do with a lot of, fight and stealing and planning of high profile, robbery. You need light to see details. And that's one of the things I was really scared of going into this movie. Like, because I know that so many of the scenes were at night, would we be able to see what's going on? Are we going to be able to see details? Trust me, she delivered on that 100%. The lighting was so good, I didn't have to strain my eye for anything in this movie. And the tones were beautiful, even though at some point I thought there was a bit of overdo somewhere, okay? But I will talk about that later on in some of the things that I really did not like. So yes, the lighting was so good. The acting, the performances was really top notch. I mentioned that oftentimes when I see Big Brother Naija people in a movie, I'm always very skeptical. I just feel like, what are these people doing here? Not like they're actors, but because they go on that platform and do a bit of activities, everybody feel like they deserve to be in the movie. But for this one, it was different. We have about 5 of them, in case I did not mention them fully earlier on. So we had Tobi, Bakre, who played the lead with Falz. We had Sheyi Awolowo, who was part of the gang, but of course, from the initial point, it was established that it did not have sense. So it got into police custody, and that just kind of short-lived his screen time for us. But for those times that he appeared on screen, it was interesting to watch. We had Boma. Although Boma did not say too much, but I think is understandable for the kind of role he played in the movie. An ex-military guy who was providing machineries for the gang. And I think that he bodied that role, if we're being serious. Not so much to see, but again, he did what he had to do. We had Diane, who I think was brilliant in this movie, different from anything I've seen her in. Of course, in most of the movies I've seen Diane, she's either vulnerable in a romantic relationship, heartbroken, and all of that stuff. So it was interesting to see her as the tough Diane in the SWAT team. Another person in this movie from the Big Brother Ninja class is Dorathy, and this is surprising for me. When the day I saw that Dorathy was part of those in the movie, I'm like, okay, what's happening here? Because I do not see Dorathy as an actress, but I think that this is a good way to start. I mean, it's one thing to start your feature in a movie. It's another thing to start on a good note. So this is a good note for Dorathy, and I hope that she gets more opportunity and also evolve like Tobi evolved, because Tobi Bakre has really evolved as an actor, and I am so glad. Another person I'm waiting to have evolve like this will probably be Seyi Awolowo, because I feel like Seyi has even featured in more movies than Tobi. But for what is what, right? At a point, I started feeling like it was being stereotyped or stereocast, right? If that's the word. But maybe seeing what Tobi has done now, it will be easy for him to also just sit back, reflect, work with people who want to see him grow and not just people who want to have him feature in movies. Shay, think about that. Anyway, back to the conversation, guys. The performances, the acting was so good. I enjoyed seeing Sam Dede. It's been a long time. I enjoyed seeing Omaomi on this movie. She gave the vibes and she did not overdo, so that was interesting for me. I enjoyed also seeing Osi Ikeji back on my screen. You know what's painful about this thing is that for every time I saw the person, I'm like, is this not OCKG? Is this not OCKG? I kept saying, this is not OCKG. But people around me, I went to the cinema, by the way, with about 7 of my people, my husband and 6 of my friends. Yes. And I was surprised that nobody, I kept saying, this is not OCKG. They were just looking at me like, what's making you this excited? Oh my God, OC is back on my screens, guys. That is brilliant. And it came with a bang. Guys, if you know OCKG, you would know that this is one of the top finest actors from, I think, from Shallow Water era. Yeah, I think that was the point. You know, those times when the Moyola wow were still growing. That was the point where OCKG2 was in our faces. I think it was from even winning a reality show or something. My memory is not serving me right, but that's OC. That OC, yeah, is back. Is back, guys, and I was happy to see him. It played a fun. It was good. It was really good. So yes, the performances was good. Although I would have loved to see more from Basketmouth. You know, being at the top of the affair. It was called Shadow in the movie. The CEO of the Juju Boys and their leader, by the way. So there was a level of assertiveness that I would have loved to see from Basketmouth, but in all, right, the performance was still good. It's his first movie also, so I think that I would let it pass. Macaroni did not do badly. Toni Tones was fantastic as always, but I also noticed that with Toni Tones, I don't know if she's losing weight for a movie, but she has lost a lot of weight compared to when she acted as Eniola Salami in King of Boys. I don't know, but she looked really slim. Her face was so slim. My husband was even asking me, why is Toni this slim? I don't know, but I hope that it's for a movie or something, because I noticed that there were a lot of physical changes for this movie. For instance, Tobi Bakre, I'm sure, had to engage in a lot of gymming and all that stuff because his build was more defined and obvious. Bovi also had even a more defined build. I feel like a lot of people had to do different things, you know, to fit into their character in this movie. What other thing do I like? I love the costuming. I love the set. I love the intentionality for the things they wore. It was so intentional. Everybody looked good in what they were wearing. It was as if or as though the stylist understood everyone's personality and was able to bring in something that worked for everybody. I just loved watching that. Even Boma that I did not like, I enjoyed watching everybody because they just gave me that look. They gave me what they were supposed to give me. It was giving 100% at that period. So yes, styling was good. Another thing that was good is the action. Guys, I know that one of the things I know about Jade is that she loves to blow up cars. She loves to blow up things. I don't know why, but she loves to. And she did it again. I remember seeing it in Sugar Rush. It was more like the first time I was seeing Nollywood literally blow up things in the real sense of it. And she did it again, with a lot of blowing up the things they had to use. I don't know who she collaborated with on this movie, but I know that most of the things they had to use, especially for the robbery, all the ropes and all that stunts at Third Mainland Bridge, I don't think that it was out of Nigeria. I feel like they probably got help from people who have had to work in Nollywood, because that's the only explanation for how good this was. Guys, it was good. Yeah, I noticed a bit of, manipulation with the gunshot scenes, the blood coming out of people, the effects and all that stuff, but I'm gonna let it pass. I'm gonna let it pass, okay? But again, it was really good to see that the action was actioning, it was giving Hollywood standard, and that was something that stood out for me. Of course, at some point I was getting weary of the story. I was looking at the story like, okay, can we just get to the real thing, all these, we're not here for all these long talks and drama. It's not relationship I came to see here. I had that vibes once in the movie. They were able to pick it up again and show us the action that we were there to see. Because at some point I remember my husband making side comment like, the trailer was more than this. So we had that feelings, because the story, the drama and all those family thing was trying to overshadow the action that we wanted to see. But again, like I said, they were able to pick it up, and that was it. Another thing I liked in the movie is the advert placement. Obviously, they got help from some brands, and the way they were able to flaunt those brands in the movie without pushing it in our faces was also beautiful. We saw Kuda being advertised, we saw Fearless being advertised, and it was done maturely. I think Nollywood is beginning to understand the assignment of how to place adverts in a movie without making it look outrageous. So yes, that was also beautiful to see. Yes, another thing I love about this movie is the unexpected end. Now, it's one thing to see a movie that you're already feeling like, okay, yeah, it's good. And then the last two scenes they gave us, bam, see, if you do movies like that for me, I'm okay. I can forgive all your sins. That's one thing with me. So they gave me that bang at the end. I'm tempted to say it, because that was one thing that got all of my guys screaming, because we did not see it coming. I know that okay, maybe I should just give it context into it. After the bad robbery on Third Mainland Bridge, which I think was fantastic, by the way, these guys put their life on the line for that particular scene. I can tell you, I don't know how they got Todd Millenberry to be on lockdown for the duration they shot that movie. I don't know, because that's like a very awesome attempt at doing something I thought was impossible. Like, they got Todd Millenbridge on lockdown from the traffic, even though some things did not make sense with how people were getting to the scene. The police arrived at the scene. I mean, there was traffic. How did people fly and reach here? But it's okay. I understand that maybe they had to let traffic people go, and then do their own and all that stuff. I understand. I forgive. Because it felt like everybody was getting to the scene so fast. Meanwhile, there was supposed to be a long traffic, but hey, it's okay. I get it. So yes, that particular Third Mainland Bridge scene was fantastic. The face-off with the police, the conversation with Falz, the moment Tobi and Toni Tones were trying to, escape that particular movement. I love the way they introduced slow-mo where they were supposed to introduce slow motion. It was just really beautiful. How Toni Tones got shot, that was good. That was good as well. And then how Tobi was, shot and then fell into the water. We know that it was wearing a bulletproof, so there's no doubt to whether or not it was good. So there was no doubt to what we saw later on about is surviving that particular one, and how the police started shooting into the water. Nah, that's Hollywood standard, guys. They did that thing. They did it. And yes, the final face-off between Tobi and OCKG is what I was referring to when I said the end was bang. I loved how they made it look like, because OC was trying to escape because they had an escape plan. They were supposed to go to someone who would get all of them out of the country. And by the time OC, who had betrayed the other people on the team, got to the man that was supposed to help them escape, he had changed his look. And I think I totally understand. Someone was trying to escape from the country. His face could have been compromised or released from videos made from the crime scene. So it's okay to want to disguise. And disguising for OC included removing the look we saw him with from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. And then the shocking parts of how Tobi got to that scene, and, you know, we had what we had. And it was even more interesting at the end when the song, "They Never See Me Coming," da, 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 da. That was interesting. Of course, there were not too many songs in the movie. You know that music is something I like for movies, if you've been following my review. But I think we had one or two of them. I love the intense soundtrack that we had here and there, the Ojuju soundtrack. And then, of course, we had music at Falz's wedding, and then at the end, which was the most important one for me, we also had music, and that music did justice, you know, to everything that we saw at that end, and it just really sealed it up. If I even wanted to criticize anything from the movie right now, I'm just saying I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, I think this is everything that I can say about the movie Brotherhood right now. One of the things I really wanted to say that I did not like when I was talking about the lighting is the fact that I felt like they were overdoing it at some point. I mean, because why did an hospital have a cinematic lighting and there were too much light, shadow, and tone and all of that? I felt like that was overdid, right? But you know, I get them, I understand them, and I still would cover that flaw, you know, for them eventually, because everything still worked out for them, you know, in its entirety. So yes, this is basically everything I'm going to say. If I remember anything, maybe I will drop it in my thought for another movie. I'm definitely going to see Anikulapo next. I wanted to put this out before I see Anikulapo, so I don't mess with what I have in my head as far as Brotherhood is concerned. How would I rate the movie? I would definitely rate it 8.5 over 10. The 2.5 is for the 1.5 is for me. Leave it for me. But I think that anyone who loves good Nollywood movies should see this movie. If you love those that are on the movie, you should see the movie. If you want to see something different out of Nollywood, then you should see this movie as well. 8.5 over 10 is what I'm rating the movie. That's because, like I said, it's that good. Till next time when I come your way with another movie review very soon, okay? Because I'm seeing Anikulapo today. Make sure you like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and always come back to watch my videos. Thank you so much for being here. Goodbye.